The space around Earth was quiet and empty. At least that's how it looked to the humans who lived there. They had no idea that a fleet of 27 alien ships was moving toward their small blue planet. Commander Vexthar stood on the bridge of his command ship and watched the blue planet grow larger on the main screen. His gray skin stretched tight across his face as he smiled. This was his third mission of discovery, but it would be his first time claiming a new world for the Zordak Imperium. "Status report," he ordered, his second pair of eyes blinking slowly as he studied the planet. "All systems normal, Commander," his first officer replied. "The humans have primitive detection technology. They have no idea we are here." Vexthar nodded. The reports from previous scouting missions showed that humans were still using basic rocket technology and had only managed to place a few small stations in orbit around their planet. They had no serious weapons, no energy shields, no faster-than-light travel. They were easy prey. "Begin the standard approach pattern," he commanded. "Keep stealth systems active until we reach the inner orbit of their moon." On Earth, Diane Miller yawned as she stared at her computer screen. The night shift at the NASA Deep Space Monitoring Station was usually boring. Most nights, she just watched the computers track known objects and satellites. She took a sip of her coffee and was about to start her hourly report when something on her screen caught her attention. "That's weird," she said, sitting up straight in her chair. Frank Nelson looked up from his own station. "What did you find?" "I'm not sure," Diane said, typing quickly to adjust the settings. "There's a strange reading at the edge of lunar orbit. The computer can't identify it." Frank rolled his chair over to look at her screen. Probably just a glitch. The system was acting up yesterday too. "No, this is different." Diane pointed to a series of numbers changing rapidly on her display. "These readings suggest multiple objects moving in formation." Frank squinted at the screen. "Could be space debris or a small meteor cluster." "Moving in formation?" Diane shook her head. "Meteors don't fly in perfect geometric patterns, Frank." Back on the Zordak command ship, Vexthar was preparing to give the order to deactivate their stealth systems when an alarm started blaring. "Commander," his science officer called out, her voice tight with concern. "I'm detecting an energy buildup around the planet." Vexthar turned sharply. "What kind of energy? Is it a weapon?" "Unknown, sir. It doesn't match any known defensive system in our database." The main screen flickered, and Vexthar felt a strange sensation run through his body. It was like a cold wind blowing through his mind. "Sir, we're experiencing some kind of interference," the communications officer reported. "I can't contact the other ships." "Activate emergency protocols," Vexthar ordered. "Prepare to—" His words died in his throat as the space around his fleet began to change. It was as if reality itself was bending. The stars outside the viewports seemed to stretch and twist. "What is happening?" he demanded. But the fear in his crew's eyes told him they had no answers. In the NASA monitoring station, Diane's computer suddenly returned to normal. "It's gone," she said, confused. "Whatever it was just disappeared." Frank sighed with relief. "See, just a glitch." Diane wasn't convinced. She saved the data for later analysis and made a note in the system log. Something had been there and then it wasn't. Equipment didn't just make up readings like that. Thousands of light years away on the Zordak homeworld, the High Council received the automated distress signal from Vexthar's fleet. It was the third expedition to vanish near the human planet. "We cannot ignore this anymore," the High Chancellor said to the assembled council members. 3 fleets have disappeared without explanation. Either the humans are hiding advanced technology, or something else guards their world. An older council member leaned forward. "Perhaps we should send a proper battle group, not just an exploration fleet." The High Chancellor nodded slowly. "Prepare our most powerful armada. Whatever is protecting Earth, we will crush it. And then, we will take what we want from that planet." What they didn't understand was that Earth was already preparing for them, in ways they could never imagine. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains in Colorado, Colonel Jack Reeves walked through a series of heavy security doors. Each one required his eye scan, handprint, and voice confirmation. The facility was not on any official map. The people who worked here did not exist in any government database. The final door opened to reveal a large circular room filled with screens and strange equipment. Some of the machines looked like normal computers, but others had an odd, almost organic shape to them. They glowed with a faint blue light that pulsed slowly, like a heartbeat. "Status report," Jack said as he entered the room. Lisa Carter looked up from her workstation. Her hands moved quickly over controls that were not made by human engineers. "All systems are stable, Colonel. The incident last night was handled without any problems." Jack nodded, but his face remained serious. "That's the third alien fleet this year. They're getting more frequent." "And larger," Lisa added. She pulled up a 3D model on the main screen. It showed the size and formation of the alien ships before they vanished. This group was almost twice the size of the last one. Jack walked to the center of the room where a strange device sat on a raised platform. It was about the size of a car engine, but it seemed to shift and change when you didn't look directly at it. Parts of it seemed to disappear into spaces that shouldn't exist. "How's our little friend doing?" he asked, placing his hand near the device without touching it. "Power levels are good," Lisa said. "After each event, it seems to grow stronger." The door opened again and Patricia Woods entered. She wore a plain black suit and carried a tablet. As the government liaison for Project Guardian, she was one of the few people outside the military who knew what happened in this facility. "I just got word from Washington," she said. "The president wants an update on our capabilities. The alien signals are getting harder to hide from the public." Jack turned to her. "Tell them we're doing our job. Earth is safe." Patricia frowned. "For now. But Diane Miller at NASA is asking questions about the readings she found. She's smart, Jack. Too smart to believe the cover story much longer." "We'll deal with that problem when we need to," Jack said. He looked back at the strange device. "Right now we need to prepare. The aliens never send just one fleet. There will be more coming." In another part of the facility, behind walls of special material that blocked all signals, a group of men and women sat in modified medical chairs. Technicians attached sensors to their heads and monitored their vital signs. These people were special. They had been chosen because of how their brains worked. Each one had shown unusual mental patterns during routine medical scans. None of them knew exactly what they were doing here. They were told only that they were helping to protect Earth. "Team 2, you're on shift for the next 8 hours, a doctor told them. "Just relax and let your minds drift like we practiced." A young woman named Kate Bell closed her eyes as the machines around her started humming. She felt the familiar sensation of floating, as if her mind was expanding beyond her body. She had been doing this job for 3 years, but she still didn't understand what she was actually doing. She didn't know that her thoughts, combined with the others in the room, were being channeled through the alien device in the main chamber. She didn't know that her consciousness was becoming part of Earth's invisible shield. Back in the control room, Jack watched as the strange device pulsed brighter. "The operators are online," Lisa confirmed. "Shield status is optimal." Patricia looked at the global map on the wall. Similar facilities were marked in strategic locations around the world: in the Siberian wilderness, beneath the Australian outback, deep in the Amazon rainforest, and under the Sahara Desert. "And the other sites?" Jack asked. "All operating at full capacity," Lisa replied. "If anything approaches Earth, we'll be ready." What none of them realized was that something much bigger than any previous fleet was already on its way. The Zordak weren't just sending ships this time. They were sending their war fleet, with orders to destroy whatever was protecting Earth. The true test of Project Guardian was about to begin. Alan Wright woke up with a scream stuck in his throat. The dream had been so real. He was floating in space, watching strange ships break apart around him. But he wasn't afraid in the dream. He felt powerful, like he was the one making the ships twist and vanish. He sat up in his small room at the Colorado facility. The walls were plain white with no windows. A small clock showed it was 5:30 a.m. There was no point trying to sleep more. The nightmares always came back. Alan had been a pilot before Project Guardian found him. He flew supply planes for the Air Force. Nothing special. Then came the day when his plane's engines failed over the Pacific. As the plane dropped from the sky, Alan had felt something strange happen in his mind. He somehow knew exactly what was wrong with the engines. More than that, he felt like he could fix them with just his thoughts. The plane's engines had started working again, just long enough for him to land safely. The official report called it a miracle. But someone in the government had been watching for such miracles. 3 days later, men in suits took Alan to this underground base. That was 2 years ago. A knock at his door pulled Alan from his thoughts. Morning. Check up in 10 minutes, a voice called. Alan got dressed in the plain gray uniform they all wore. He splashed cold water on his face and looked at himself in the mirror. Dark circles hung under his eyes. His face was thinner than it used to. The work took a toll on everyone. Dr. Karen Lewis was waiting for him in the examination room. She was kind but professional, never sharing much about herself. Today she looked worried. Bad dreams again? She asked, as she attached sensors to his head. Same as always, Alan replied. Ships breaking apart, stars bending, and that feeling of power. Dr. Lewis nodded as she checked his brain activity on her tablet. Your neural patterns are stronger today. That's good. Is it? Alan asked. Because I feel worse. The headaches are getting bad. Dr. Lewis paused. She seemed to be deciding how much to tell him. Alan, do you know how many people like you we've found? He shook his head. Just 47 across the entire planet, she said. People whose minds can connect with the system. People who can sense things beyond normal human ability. Lucky us, Alan said with a dry laugh. It is lucky, Dr. Lewis insisted. Without you and the others, Earth would have been invaded years ago. Alan had heard bits and pieces about the aliens and the strange technology that protected Earth, but no one ever told him the whole story. What exactly am I doing when I'm in that chair? He asked. What happens to me? Dr. Lewis put down her tablet. Your consciousness expands. You become part of a network with the other operators. Together you create a field around Earth that affects how reality works near our planet. That sounds impossible, Alan said. It would be without the alien device we found, she replied. It amplifies your natural abilities. Alan wanted to ask more, but an alarm suddenly blared through the facility. Colonel Reeves's voice came over the speakers. All operators report to your stations immediately. This is not a drill. Dr. Lewis quickly removed the sensors from Alan's head. You need to go. Something's happening. Alan ran through the halls toward the operation chamber. Other operators were rushing there too. He saw fear on their faces. In the control room, Colonel Reeves and Lisa Carter watched a large screen showing something massive approaching Earth. Are those ships? Lisa asked, her voice tense. Not just ships, Colonel Reeves said. That's a war fleet. The aliens are done testing our defenses. Now they're coming to break them. He pressed a button on the console. All Guardian sites worldwide. This is Colonel Reeves. We have a level 1 situation. I repeat, level 1. Activate all operators and bring systems to maximum power. In the operation chamber, Alan took his place in his chair. As the technicians hooked him up to the system, he could already feel something different. His mind seemed to reach out on its own, sensing danger approaching Earth. The last thing he heard before his consciousness expanded was Dr. Lewis saying, "Be careful out there." Then his mind left his body and joined the others in the void between worlds. Fleet Commander Drackle stood tall on the bridge of his massive warship. His medals gleamed on his chest, each one earned in battle against other alien races. The Zordak had never lost a war. They had conquered 12 planets and destroyed 8, others that resisted. Earth would be next. How long until we reach the human planet? He asked his navigation officer. 6 hours, Commander, the officer replied. We are moving at full speed. Drackle studied the image of Earth on his screen. It looked peaceful and blue, with white clouds swirling over its surface. The report said it was rich with water, metals, and biological life. Perfect for Zordak needs. 3 exploration fleets disappeared near this planet, he told his officers. The High Council believes the humans have some secret weapon, but our scans show only primitive technology. They have not even colonized their own moon properly. Could it be another alien race protecting them? Asked his second-in-command. Possibly, Drackle said. But it doesn't matter. We have brought 200 warships. Nothing can stand against us. What Drackle didn't know was that Earth was already aware of his approach. Deep in the Colorado facility, Colonel Reeves was on a secure video call with military leaders from around the world. The alien fleet is 6 times larger than anything we've faced before, he explained. They'll be here in 6 hours. Can Project Guardian handle something this big? Asked a general from China. We've never tested the system at this level, Colonel Reeves admitted. But we don't have a choice. If these aliens get past us, Earth has no conventional defense that could stop them. What do you need from us? Asked a commander from Russia. Keep the public calm, Colonel Reeves said. If people panic, it could disrupt the operator's focus. As far as the world knows, this is just another day. The military leaders nodded. They had been keeping the alien threat secret for years. They would continue to do so. In the operation chamber, Alan and 11 other operators sat in their special chairs. Technicians were hooking them up to the system. Alan could see that some of the operators looked scared. Others seemed almost peaceful, as if they had accepted whatever might happen. Dr. Lewis moved from person to person, checking their vital signs. Your heart rate is too high, she told Alan. Try to relax. Kind of hard when you know a massive alien fleet is coming. To kill everyone, Alan said. Dr. Lewis gave him a small smile. You've done this before, just bigger this time. What happens if we fail? Alan asked. If there are too many ships? Dr. Lewis didn't answer right away. Then she said quietly, just don't fail. Lisa Carter entered the room carrying what looked like silver helmets. We're adding the new neural amplifiers, she announced. These should help you maintain the connection longer and reach farther. Alan had never seen these helmets before. They must have been saving them for an emergency. This definitely counted. As Lisa placed the helmet on his head, Alan felt a strange tingling sensation. It was like his mind was already starting to stretch outward, even before the system was fully activated. I can feel something, he said. It's different this time. Lisa nodded. The aliens are using some kind of new technology. We detected energy, signatures we've never seen before. They're learning, adapting to their previous failures. In the control room, Colonel Reeves watched as the alien fleet moved closer on the tracking screen. They were now just past the orbit of Mars. Activate the Guardian system, he ordered. Full power to all sites. Around the world, in hidden facilities in Russia, China, Australia, Brazil, and Egypt, other operators like Alan connected to the system. Their minds linked together, creating a web of human consciousness that surrounded the planet. Alan felt the moment when his mind joined with the others. It was like being in a room with many people all thinking the same thing. He could sense their fear, their determination, and their strength. Then he felt something else. The cold, alien presence approaching Earth. It was bigger and stronger than anything he had faced before. The battle for Earth was about to begin. The space between Mars and Earth filled with the Zordak fleet. 200 warships moved in perfect formation, their weapons ready to destroy anything in their path. Fleet Commander Dracul watched as Earth grew larger on his view screen. Begin. Scanning for defenses, he ordered. Find whatever destroyed our previous fleets. His officers worked quickly, checking for energy signatures, weapons platforms, or hidden ships. They found nothing unusual. The planet appears defenseless, Commander, his science officer reported. We detect only primitive satellites and a small space station. Dracul narrowed his eyes. That's impossible. Something destroyed 3 fleets. Keep scanning. In the Colorado facility, Alan felt his mind expand beyond his body. With the new neural amplifier, his consciousness reached farther than ever before. He could sense the other operators around the world, their minds joining with his. Together, they formed a network of human thought that surrounded Earth like an invisible shield. Through this mental connection, Alan could see the alien fleet. It was massive, hundreds of ships moving toward Earth. He felt the fear from the other operators. Some of them had never faced anything this big before. Stay focused, he thought to the others. We can do this. In the control room, Colonel Reeves watched the monitors closely. All operators showed strong neural activity. The Guardian system was working at full power. The alien fleet is entering the outer defense zone, Lisa reported. They'll be in range in 3 minutes. Colonel Reeves turned to Dr. Lewis. How are the operators holding up? Stable for now, she answered. But this is a lot of pressure on their minds. They can't maintain this level of connection for more than an hour. Let's hope it doesn't take that long, Colonel Reeves said. As Alan's mind moved through space, he noticed something strange about the alien device they were connected to. For the first time, he could see patterns and symbols on its surface. They seemed familiar somehow, as if he should understand them. He focused his thoughts on the device, trying to read the symbols. Suddenly, images flashed through his mind. Humans from thousands of years ago building something. They weren't primitive. They had advanced technology, beyond even what existed now. This isn't alien technology, Alan thought with shock. It's human, ancient human. The realization spread through the operator network. Alan could feel their surprise and confusion. The device they had thought came from the Roswell crash was actually made by their own ancestors. In the control room, alarms started ringing as the operator's brain patterns changed. What's happening? Colonel Reeves demanded. Dr. Lewis checked her monitors. They're accessing deeper functions in the system, something we've never seen before. Lisa stared at the main device in the center of the room. It was glowing brighter than ever, and the strange shifting patterns on its surface were moving faster. It's responding to them, she said in amazement. It's like they've found the right key to unlock it. In space, Fleet Commander Dracul's ship approached Earth. Still, no sign of defenses. Begin the first attack wave, he ordered. Target their major cities. 20 warships moved forward, weapons charging. That's when Dracul felt something strange, a pressure in his mind, like someone was watching him. Commander, we're detecting an energy field forming around the planet, his science officer called out. It doesn't match any known technology. Dracul watched as a faint shimmer appeared between his fleet and Earth. It wasn't a solid shield. It looked more like heat waves. In air, a distortion of reality itself. Fire all weapons, he ordered. The front line of Zordak ships fired their energy weapons. The beams shot toward Earth but then bent and twisted as they hit the strange field. Some turned back toward the ships that fired them. Others simply vanished. Impossible, Dracul shouted. In the Colorado facility, Alan suddenly understood what the Guardian system really was. It wasn't a shield generator or a weapon. It was an amplifier, a device that took human consciousness and used it to affect physical reality. The ancient humans had discovered that their minds, when properly focused, could manipulate the basic forces of the universe. They built the device to enhance this natural ability. Then they hid it away, leaving instructions for future generations who might need it. We aren't using technology to defend Earth, Alan thought to the other operators. We are the defense. Our minds are changing reality around the planet. With this new understanding, Alan pushed his consciousness further, reaching toward the alien fleet with a simple thought: you cannot harm this world. Fleet Commander Dracul watched in horror as 5 of his frontline ships twisted into impossible shapes. Metal bent and warped, as if it were made of soft clay. The ship's hulls folded in on themselves like paper. Then they simply vanished, leaving no trace. Pull back the attack wave, he shouted. All ships, maintain distance from the energy field. The remaining Zordak ships retreated to a safer position. Dracul had never seen weapons that could do this. It went against all laws of physics he understood. What kind of technology are they using? He demanded. His science officer looked up from her readings, her face pale with fear. Commander, there is no technology. We detect no energy weapons, no power sources. It's as if space itself is changing around our ships. Dracul could not accept this. That's impossible. Space doesn't just change on its own. In the Colorado facility, Alan and the other operators were pushing their minds to the limit. Alan could feel the strain on his body. His nose was bleeding and his head felt like it might split open, but he could also feel the power flowing through him. We can't maintain this level much longer, one of the operators thought through their mental link. Alan could sense operators at other facilities around the world beginning to falter. In Russia, an operator collapsed, blood streaming from his ears. In Australia, another fell unconscious. Their absence created weak spots in Earth's defense. In the control room, alarms blared as monitors showed operators going offline. "We're losing them," Dr. Lewis said urgently. "Their brains can't handle the strain." Colonel Reeves slammed his fist on the console. "We need to hold on. If that fleet gets through..." Lisa studied the readings from the ancient device. "The system is drawing more power than ever before. It's like it's trying to compensate for the operators we're losing." On the main screen, they could see several Guardian sites going dark. The global network was breaking down. Site 4 in Russia is offline, Patricia reported. Site 7 in Australia is at minimal capacity. We're down to 60% coverage. In space, Dracul noticed the change. The strange energy field around Earth was weakening in places. He could see gaps forming. "Prepare a second attack wave," he ordered. "Target the weak points in their defense." 50 more Zordak ships moved forward, their weapons charging. They aimed for the places where Earth's shield seemed thinner. Alan felt the new threat through his mental connection. He sensed the alien ships targeting the weak spots where operators had fallen. With fewer minds in the network, they couldn't maintain a complete shield around the planet. "We need to change our approach," Alan thought to the remaining operators. "Instead of spreading our thoughts thin trying to cover the whole planet, let's focus on the ships themselves." The other operators understood immediately. Rather than forming a shield, they began to reach out directly toward the alien vessels. They focused their combined consciousness on the fabric of space around each ship. Alan pushed himself beyond safe limits. He could feel blood running from his nose and ears, but he ignored it. In his mind, he could see the alien ships clearly. He focused on one ship and thought, "You are not solid. You are mostly empty space. Your atoms can change." The ship he was focusing on began to shimmer. Its hull seemed to become transparent, then liquid-like. The crew inside screamed as their reality changed around them. Then the entire ship collapsed into itself and disappeared. Other operators followed Alan's lead, each targeting individual ships. One by one, the second attack wave began to vanish. In the control room, Dr. Lewis watched Alan's vital signs with growing alarm. "His brain is showing signs of severe stress," she told Colonel Reeves. "If he continues like this, he could suffer permanent damage or death." "Can you pull him out?" Colonel Reeves asked. Dr. Lewis shook her head. "Not while he's this deep in the system. If we disconnect him now, it could kill him instantly." Colonel Reeves faced an impossible choice: risk the lives of his operators or risk the entire planet. In space, Dracul watched as his second attack wave disintegrated. 28 ships gone in minutes. Whatever the humans were using, it was beyond anything the Zordak had ever encountered. "Commander," his first officer said quietly, "perhaps we should retreat and report back to the High Council." Dracul hissed in anger. "The Zordak do not retreat. Prepare the main fleet. We will overwhelm them with numbers." As the remaining 150 Zordak ships began to move forward, Alan felt a strange new presence in the mental network, something ancient and powerful, awakening within the device itself. Dr. Lewis rushed between the operators, checking vital signs and injecting medicine to help them stay conscious. 3 of the 12 operators in the Colorado facility had already passed out. The others were barely holding on. "We need to shut down the system," she told Colonel Reeves. "They can't take much more of this." "If we shut down now, the aliens will reach Earth," Colonel Reeves replied. "Millions will die." Dr. Lewis pointed at Alan's monitors. "Look at these readings. His brain is going into areas we've never seen before. It's like he's accessing parts of the mind that humans don't normally use." On the main screen, they could see the remaining Zordak ships moving toward Earth. Despite their losses, they still had enough firepower to destroy major cities. Lisa was studying the ancient device in the center of the room. It was pulsing with bright light now, almost too bright to look at directly. "Something's happening with the device," she said. "It's changing." Symbols appeared on its surface, glowing with inner light. They shifted and moved as if alive. "I recognize those symbols," Lisa whispered. "They're similar to ancient writing found in caves all over the world. Historians thought they were just primitive art, but what?" Colonel Reeves asked. "But what if they were instructions? What if our ancestors were trying to tell us something about who we really are?" In the operation chamber, Alan felt the ancient presence grow stronger. It wasn't a separate entity. It was part of him, part of all humans. It was the collective memory of their species. Through this connection, Alan suddenly understood. Humans had once been much more powerful beings. They could control matter with their thoughts. They had built great civilizations across the galaxy. But something had happened. A disaster that nearly destroyed them. The survivors came to Earth and chose to forget their powers, to live as simple beings while they healed. The device wasn't alien technology. It was a key to unlock the power that had always been inside every human. "We don't need the device," Alan thought to the other operators. "It's just training wheels. The power is inside us. It always has been." Understanding spread through the mental network. The operators began to disconnect from the device while maintaining their consciousness link with each other. In the control room, alarms blared as monitors showed operators going offline from the system. "What are they doing?" Colonel Reeves demanded. "They're disconnecting from the Guardian." But something strange was happening. Even as the operators left the system, the defense field around Earth remained active. In fact, it was growing stronger. Dr. Lewis stared at her readings in amazement. "They're generating the field themselves now. The device was just showing them how." In space, Drackle watched as the strange energy field around Earth intensified. It was no longer just bending light. It was glowing with its own inner fire. The glow spread, reaching toward his ships like searching fingers. "All vessels, evasive maneuvers," he shouted. "Do not let that energy touch you." But the glowing tendrils moved too quickly. They wrapped around ship after ship, not destroying them but changing them. Metal became soft. Engines stopped working. Weapons systems shut down. The ships were being transformed by human thought in Salpe. The Colorado facility. Alan's body was floating several inches above his chair. The other operators were rising too, surrounded by a soft blue light. Their eyes were open but seeing something beyond the room. "Their brainwave patterns are synchronizing," Dr. Lewis said quietly. "They're thinking as one mind now." Patricia looked at the global map. The same thing was happening at Guardian sites across the planet. All the remaining operators were connected in a single consciousness. "It's beautiful," Lisa whispered as she watched the ancient device start to fade. Its job was done. It had awakened what was sleeping inside humanity. In space, Fleet Commander Drackle made a decision he never thought possible. "All ships retreat," he ordered. "Get beyond their reach, we must warn the High Council." His remaining ships turned away from Earth, engines straining to maximum speed. Most would escape, but the Zordak would never forget what they had seen. A planet protected not by technology but by the minds of its inhabitants. As the alien threat receded, Alan felt his consciousness begin to return to his body. But he knew he would never be the same again. None of them would. They had remembered what humans truly were, and the stars would tremble at the memory. 3 weeks after the battle, Alan sat by a window in the medical wing of the Colorado facility. The doctors had been monitoring him and the other operators closely. Some recovered quickly. Others, like Alan, needed more time. The headaches were less frequent now, but he still had moments when his mind seemed to stretch beyond his body. Sometimes he could feel the thoughts of other operators, even though they were no longer connected to the system. Dr. Lewis entered the room with a tablet in her hand. She looked tired but happy. "How are you feeling today?" she asked. "Better," Alan said. "I can sleep without the nightmares now." Dr. Lewis nodded. Your brain scans are stabilizing. The new areas that activated during the battle are still active, but they're integrating with the rest of your mind. And the others? Alan asked. Most are recovering well. We lost contact with the Russian site for a while, but they're back online. Now, all their operators survived. Alan looked out the window at the blue sky. Somewhere up there, the remains of the Zordak fleet were racing away from Earth, carrying the news of their defeat. What happens now? He asked. Colonel Reeves wants to see you, Dr. Lewis replied. He's meeting with all the operators who are well enough to talk. In the main conference room, Colonel Reeves sat with Lisa Carter and Patricia Woods. Maps and charts covered the walls showing the locations of Guardian sites around the world. But the most interesting thing was in the center of the table, the ancient device now dark and silent. It's completely inactive, Lisa told Alan as he entered. It's like it used the last of its power to wake us up and then shut down. Colonel, Reeves stood to greet Alan. Good to see you on your feet, right? Thank you, sir, Alan said. Dr. Lewis mentioned you wanted to talk to me. Yes. We need to make some decisions about Project Guardian going forward. Patricia brought up an image on the main screen, a star map showing Earth and its surrounding space. The Zordak fleet is leaving our solar system, she said, but our long-range sensors detect other alien ships watching from a distance. They're not approaching, just observing. Are they a threat? Alan asked. We don't think so, Colonel Reeves replied. In fact, we've received transmissions from 3 different alien species in the past week. They want to talk. Talk? Not invade? Exactly. It seems Earth has quite a reputation in the galaxy. We're known as the planet where fleets vanish. Most intelligent species stay away from us. The ones contacting us now are peaceful explorers who have been watching Earth for centuries. Alan tried to process this information. So we're not alone, and we're not being invaded. That's good news. Very good news, Lisa agreed. And there's more. The friendly aliens have shared some of their history with us. They say humans are known in galactic records as the Shapers, beings who could change reality with their thoughts. Most alien civilizations thought we were extinct. So the story I saw in the mental link was true, Alan said. We were once much more advanced. Colonel Reeves nodded. According to these aliens, humans were among the first intelligent species in the galaxy. We explored and built civilizations long before most other races evolved. Then something happened, a war or disaster, and the survivors came to Earth to heal and rebuild. And they chose to forget who they were. Alan finished. They locked away their powers so they wouldn't repeat their mistakes. Until they were needed again, Patricia added. The device was their way of making sure we could defend ourselves if necessary. So what now? Alan asked. Do we continue? Project Guardian? Colonel Reeves looked at each person in the room. That's what we need to decide. The device is dormant, but you operators have changed. You can still access abilities most humans can't. We need to understand these abilities better. And we need to prepare for more contact with aliens, Lisa said. Both friendly and otherwise. Alan thought about everything he had experienced. The battle, the connection to other minds, the feeling of power beyond anything he had imagined. I think we should continue, he said. Not to make weapons or control others, but to understand who we really are, and to make sure Earth stays safe. Colonel Reeves nodded. That's what the other operators said too. As Alan left the meeting, he looked up at the sky again. The universe suddenly seemed much bigger and more interesting than before, and humanity's place in it was not what anyone had imagined. Somewhere out there, the story was spreading among the stars. Earth is protected, not by shields or weapons, but by the minds of its people. The planet where fleets vanish would be left in peace. And if any other aliens were foolish enough to attack Earth, they would learn what the Zordak had discovered. Humans were far more than they appeared to be.